Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make YouTube thumbnails with Procreate. I use Procreate for so many things related to YouTube. I use it for titles, I use it for my thumbnails, I use it for animations, I use it for intros, outros, title screens. Procreate can do so many things, so much more than just using it for YouTube, but today's video I'm going to be showing you guys mainly how to use it for making a thumbnail. First, what you want to do for making a good thumbnail is if you're going to have a picture of yourself or a picture of whatever you're talking about in your video, make sure to take that picture separately from your video. Don't just screenshot your video, because when you take the picture separately from a video and take it as an actual picture with your phone or your camera, the quality is so much better than when you just screenshot it from your video while editing. And so what you do is you take your picture before. Here's an example of the picture that I took for this one. You open a new Procreate file, and the canvas size is going to be 1280 by 720 pixels. This way, that is the size that you want for your YouTube thumbnail. It'll upload correctly. It won't be too big or too small. So you press your canvas size, and then you go up to the top where the little settings is, top left, and you insert a photo. Pick your photo, whatever you want. It'll insert it straight into Procreate. And after that, you can basically do whatever you want. You can draw straight on the picture. You can erase the picture. You can add a new layer on top of it if you want to draw on the image, so that if you were to write your title of the video on the image, and let's say you made a mistake, and if you were to do it on the layer that you have your image on, it would erase the picture as well as the text. So if you add a new layer on top, you can write on top of the picture with the ability to erase the text without erasing the picture. So you can do that. You can add multiple pictures. They will each come up as an individual layer so that you can edit each picture individually. You can crop it, move it around, whatever you want to do. One of my favorite type of thumbnails that I like to do is erasing the background of a picture of me, doing an outline with the monoline pen. I do just a white outline around myself to make myself pop out. And then I put another background behind me. Let's say I'm talking about Procreate. I'd put the background of Procreate behind me. And then I take the soft brush with a low opacity. I color out the background of that image. That way the cutout version of me pops out in front of the background more, and it makes it look really nice and clean, especially when you kind of fade out the background a little bit. You can do so many different types of titles with Procreate. I mean, the main things that I've used for making my thumbnails is Canva and Procreate. Procreate is $10 on the App Store, but you get so many things with that $10, and there's so many different pencils. You can play around with all the different things. You can do little doodles on your thumbnail, make little stars. You can write all over your image. Sometimes I like to put the main title and then add a little note pointing something out aside from the title that will be a part of the video. There's unlimited colors. You can use any color of the rainbow. You can also type straight onto your image. It would just add it as a new layer. You can use different fonts. You can also use the app called iFont in order to upload more fonts to Procreate. That way you can have a variety of fonts, because the fonts that Procreate provides is a little bit limited. That is one of the main ways that I do my thumbnail, is I cut out an image of me and put in a background and blur it out. Another thing that I do, let's say, for example, this thumbnail that you clicked on, let's say you want to have just an image, a still shot, let's say, of this, like me smiling. Then you can also upload it to Procreate, and then you can take that soft brush, color the whole thing, the whole entire thing. And then what you can do from there is you would erase the soft brush marks just from my body, and then take the monoline pen, do an outline. That way, if you just want a picture of yourself in front of the camera without a different background, you would still have that background faded. It just makes it look cleaner, and it makes yourself pop out more, which is what you want to pop out, especially if I have all this stuff in the background. Fade out the background and to make myself pop. That is another thing that you can do. You can also add multiple images. When people post vlogs and things like that, they might add multiple images, let's say 3 across the screen, and you can align them however you want and then erase. You can make it to where it's a straight line that you erase for the borders of the pictures. You can make it to where it's kind of curvy a little bit to make it kind of fun. There's just so many things you can do with Procreate, and the main thing that I love about using Procreate for thumbnails is that you can erase backgrounds. That is so handy, and it's hard to find apps that do that. Canva does not do that for free that I'm aware of. And of course you have to pay $10 for Procreate, but I personally think $10 is more than worth it for all the things that you get with Procreate, and I use it so often. And I love adding written text on the screen if I want to make something more personalized. I do love the option that you can add actual text on Procreate, just in case you do want that text look. Maybe you don't have great handwriting, so you want to add typed text to your thumbnail, and they have that option, which is great. One other thing that I love doing for Procreate thumbnails is, since you can erase things, if you put text, like let's say it's a picture of me again, let's say you want to put text behind you or behind an object, go to layers, you go to your text layer, and then you press rasterize, and that way you can freely erase your text. You can erase it to the outline of your head, that way it looks like the text is behind you on the screen, which is very handy, and I personally think it looks really cool. Another kind of title that I like to do that's really fun is I take the acrylic marker and kind of make a wave across of the thumbnail, and I write right on top of that wave, so it kind of looks like the text is curvy and it has a little background. I really like doing that as well. Super fun, very creative. You can do so many different titles with Procreate. Another thing that's really helpful with Procreate is you can wrap the text around objects. If you want to have text wrap around your head or an object in your picture, you can just write straight on the picture, and that way you can wrap it and customize it to your liking. Another thing that's really cool is, let me give you an example of my modest spring outfit ideas thumbnail. I took pictures from all the outfits and I just cut them out and then put a background behind it. That way you can see all of the outfits and they're cut out without a background. One other thing that you can do with Procreate to make your titles pop a little bit more is you can duplicate a text layer and then you alpha lock it, color it in a different color. You can do gray for a shadow, you can do pink if you want another effect. You take the duplicated layer and then you just move it out from behind the original text, and it makes it look almost like a shadow, and it can make your text pop more. Let's say you have an all white background but you want your text to be white. Sometimes it can be hard to see your text if it's white. You can make it a shadow of any color, so that way you can actually see the text on your thumbnail. Another thing that is very handy is if you want to add little objects from images into your thumbnail, all you have to do is erase it from another image and you can just have these different objects around your thumbnail. Maybe if you're doing a tech video, you can have yourself smiling and then you, from a picture of your laptop, you cut out your laptop and have it floating there, something like that. Outlining objects also makes it pop more and makes it separate from the background, which is nice. So those are all my tips and tricks for how I use Procreate to make thumbnails. It is very helpful. You kind of just have to play around with it, figure out kind of how to use it, watch some tutorials on YouTube, but it is very easy and it's very quick to make the thumbnails depending on how intricate you want to make them. But on average, I say probably for a regular thumbnail, it probably takes me 10 minutes, which is not bad at all. If I'm doing a more fancy one, it can take over an hour if it's very intricate. But that is going to be all for today's video. Comment down below if you have any questions at all. I'd be glad to answer them in another video or in the comments down below. So let me know any questions that you have. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.